back, everybody. It's now time for What's Hot. This is where we talk about the stories that have us all talking.
And we're joined this afternoon with Klein from Boelter and Lincoln, plus Jeff Wagner is back with us. The big story today, George Zimmerman will soon learn his fate. He is charged with second-degree murder for the shooting death of unarmed teen Trayvon Martin. He says that he shot Martin in self-defense. The jury have three options now in convicting Zimmerman. They can either choose second-degree murder, manslaughter, or find him not guilty. Should Zimmerman be convicted of a crime?
This is a hard one. I mean, both sides really made every effort to tell their side of the story, whether it was self-defense or not. Everybody has their own opinion. I'm torn on this one. I see valid points on both sides, but it's in the hands of the jury now, so it'll just be a few days, I imagine, before we find out what they think.
Could be a few hours.
Or
I mean,
hours.
They're sequestered, so who knows? You could have a verdict any time. This is not a second-degree murder case. This case, in my opinion, grossly overcharged. I will be stunned if they come back with second-degree murder. The more difficult question is it manslaughter or is it not guilty because of the self-defense situation? And I think, honestly, that's kind of that's sort of a pick-em. Under normal circumstances, I would say this is a case, I don't know what happened that night, but it's a case that screams reasonable doubt. Having said that, though, I think the prosecution made a really good point in their summation today where they were saying you've got a 17-year-old kid who's dead. And I think some jurors might sit there and say, okay, well, even if it's not second-degree murder, there needs to be some accountability. And I'll tell you, I'm not sure which way this one's going to come out.
I'm a little disappointed that Zimmerman never took the stand here. It would have been good to hear from him why he got out of the car after he was, and he'd already called police, and they told him they were on the way and dealing with it. What made this guy think he needed to get out and do something?
And follow after they told him not to follow.
And that is, of course, I think that's the strongest piece of evidence that the prosecution has. And they were coming back, why did he get out of the car? And the defense is making the argument, well, okay, he got out of the car, but you know that if he was attacked or subsequently was involved in a fight. Now the reason, Steve, he didn't testify is I think because the prosecution played multiple statements that he made, his version was out there. So I think his lawyer said he's got nothing more to gain by getting on the witness stand. The jurors have already heard his line of thinking. Whether it works or not, who knows? Hey, here's something else that's interesting. Only 6 jurors, not 12. I think that's a pro-prosecution thing because
it's easier for consensus with 6.
Well, also with 12, all you need is one juror to have a reasonable doubt, and you got a hung jury. Now you've only got 6.
Okay, coming up next.
It's more time for what hot.
What is this?
What hot?
It's Friday.
Klein, Jeff Wagner here as always. Okay, I think we can breeze through topic number 2 pretty quickly here. Custody denied to a dad who came to court in a Nazi uniform wanting to get his youngest child back. Heath Campbell gave all 4 of his children Nazi-inspired names. Officials say they took the kid because of previous violence in the home. The couple says they never abused their children, just gave them really bad names, and they're being targeted for doing
Possibly
that.
Bullied.
Guys?
He showed up for court trying to get his kids back dressed in a Nazi uniform. It's Jimmy Buffett Friday. He's got a song called Fruitcakes. Fruitcakes in the kitchen, fruitcakes on the street, walking naked through the crosswalk in the middle of the week. This guy is a fruitcake or worse. If free legal advice from a recovering lawyer, if you want your kid back in a custody battle, don't show up dressed like a Nazi officer. It's that simple.
Katie, go ahead.
I don't even know how to follow that up. I mean, he said it for both of us. Yeah, if you put on a suit, try to get your children back the respectable way. If that's what he believes, fine, but obviously that's not going to help your cause if you're looking like a Hitler wannabe.
with the mustache. He's got even a little mustache.
He's devoted to his cause, I guess.
All right, last topic.
And our final What's Hot topic. Parents now facing tough consequences for leaving their children in the car. Now, one mother says that she left her 40-year-old child watching a video in the back so she could go into a JCPenney's. She said she left the car running, locked with air conditioning, but when she came back out, she saw that the police officer was circling the parking lot, and clearly she knew she was in trouble. She paid the fine, but she's hoping she doesn't have to spend any jail time. What do you say to this one?
I think she deserves the jail time. The child is 4 years old. There's it's different if it was like an 8-year-old who could kind of fend for themselves, grab a cell phone, call 911, has a little bit more substance than a 4-year-old. So fine, you get jail. You obviously knew what you were doing and that it was wrong because you identified that the cops were after you.
Okay, this is fruitcakes part 2.
Oh.
Who in their right mind leaves a 4-year-old alone in a car with the motor running, for goodness sake? So, okay, think of all the things that could happen. Okay, first of all, somebody decides we're going to steal the car, so they bust in, because, I mean, who can pass up a motor running? Or the 4-year-old, 4 years old, I mean, you're old enough to climb around. Yeah, you put that car in gear. I mean, this is just dumb as a bag of hammers, no question about it.
You're 2 for 2, Jeff. Man,
I thought we'd get a bonus lyric there out of Wagner.
Right.
No, I'm back with Goddard. He went to college and he's got his education. I'm thinking, was it Domino College? Where did you go, for goodness sakes? You know.
Whatever. She should pay her fine, go to jail.
We blew through those rather quickly today.
We did.
You're an efficient group. We're going to take a break.